They smile in your face, but when you turn your back, their true feelings emerge. They wear the mask of a friend, a supporter, a confidant, but underneath, something darker lurks. Have you ever had that gut feeling that someone in your life doesn't truly want the best for you? That despite their kind words, there's something about their energy that feels off? If so, you're not alone. Many people walk through life unaware of the hidden enemies disguised as friends, family, and even colleagues. But the truth is, their actions will always betray them. You think they're on your side, that they care about you, that they want to see you win. But what if they don't? What if behind every compliment there's a hidden resentment? Behind every smile, a secret wish to see you fail? Some people will never openly express their jealousy or their hatred. Instead, they disguise it, hiding behind subtle jabs, fake encouragement, and silent sabotage. The worst part? These people often come in the form of those closest to you, the ones you least suspect. If you've ever felt that something was off in a close relationship but couldn't quite put your finger on it, then this message is for you. The sooner you spot these signs, the sooner you can protect yourself from their negative influence. Because one thing is certain, energy never lies. They may be able to fake a smile, but they can't fake the way they truly feel about you. Pay attention to these clear, undeniable signals that someone in your life secretly despises you. One of the biggest giveaways is fake support. On the surface, they act like they're cheering you on. They smile, they nod, they say all the right things, but deep down, their words lack sincerity. It's the way they say, "I hope it works out for you," instead of, "I know you've got this." It's the way they offer lukewarm encouragement, rather than genuine excitement. Their support feels more like an obligation, like they're saying what they think they should say, rather than what they actually believe. But fake support is dangerous, because it's not just passive. It plants doubt in your mind. These people won't openly discourage you, but they'll phrase things in ways that make you second-guess yourself. That sounds cool, but are you sure it's realistic? Or, a lot of people try that and don't make it. But hey, maybe you'll be the exception. They present their words as concern, as logical advice, but in reality, they are subtle daggers to your confidence. Why is fake support more harmful than open criticism? Because at least when someone openly doubts you, you know where they stand. But fake supporters are different. They keep you in a mental tug-of-war. One moment they seem supportive, the next, their words make you hesitate. And hesitation is the enemy of progress. If you find yourself questioning your path more after talking to someone rather than feeling more motivated, that's a red flag. A true supporter will never make you doubt yourself. They will push you forward. So how do you handle these fake supporters? You stop looking for their validation. You trust your gut over their lukewarm words. And if you're feeling bold, you call it out. Try saying, "You don't seem excited about this. Do you not believe in me?" Watch their reaction. If they get defensive, you have your answer. If they act clueless, they know exactly what they're doing. I once had a so-called friend who claimed to be my biggest supporter. At first, they cheered me on, hyping me up as I pursued my goals. But the moment I started seeing real progress, their energy changed. When I hit milestones, instead of celebrating, they would downplay my achievements. "Oh, nice, but you still have a long way to go, right?" Or, "It's not that big of a deal, but good for you, I guess." It took me a while to realize what was happening. They didn't want me to fail, but they didn't want me to succeed either, at least not beyond them. They wanted me to do well, just not better than them. And that's when I made a decision. I stopped sharing my progress with them. I stopped expecting excitement or belief from them. And you know what? I thrived without their fake support dragging me down. Some people don't hate you. They hate the idea of you winning. They hate that your success forces them to confront their own insecurities. Pay attention to how people react when you talk about your goals. Do they uplift you, or do they subtly make you doubt yourself? True support is felt, not just heard. Another undeniable sign that someone secretly dislikes you is when your intuition tells you something is off. Your gut is one of the most powerful tools you have, yet it's also the most ignored. Have you ever been around someone who made you feel uneasy for no apparent reason? Maybe their words were fine, but something about their energy felt off. Maybe after every conversation with them, you felt drained or second-guessed yourself. That's your intuition at work. Your body reacts to energy before your mind catches up. Your subconscious picks up on tiny inconsistencies, subtle changes in tone, micro-expressions, body language. Even if someone is pretending to be friendly, their energy will betray them. If you ever feel a quiet discomfort around someone, don't brush it off. Your intuition doesn't lie. It's not paranoia. It's not overthinking. It's your survival instinct picking up on something real. I once ignored my intuition about someone who always seemed too nice. They smiled at me, said all the right things, acted interested in my life. But I noticed that after every conversation, I felt uneasy. I couldn't explain it at first. They never said anything outright negative, but something about their energy felt off. Then, one day, I overheard them making a subtle, mocking remark about me to someone else. That was the confirmation I had been ignoring. My gut had been screaming the truth all along. I just hadn't wanted to listen. Your intuition doesn't need logic. It doesn't need proof. It just knows. People can fake kindness, but energy never lies. If you feel drained or uncomfortable around someone, even if you can't explain why, trust that feeling. You don't need to wait for a betrayal to validate what your soul already knows. And then there's one of the most common and overlooked signs. They mock your goals and ambitions, not in a direct way, but through sarcasm, teasing, or realistic advice. Oh, you really think you can pull that off? Wow, look at you, Mr. Motivated. Let's see how long this lasts. You should be more realistic. The truth is, people don't mock your goals because they think they're impossible. They mock them because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to face their own lack of discipline. It reminds them of the dreams they abandoned. And instead of dealing with that discomfort, they take it out on you. I once told someone about my goal of creating content. They laughed, not in a happy-for-you way, but in a that's ridiculous way. You? A content creator? Good luck with that. At first I let their words get to me. I questioned myself. But then I realized something. They weren't speaking from truth. They were speaking from fear. Fear of trying, fear of failing, fear of seeing someone else succeed where they never even dared to start. Years later, that same person messaged me, "Hey, I see what you're doing. That's amazing. I wish I had started something too." And that's when it hit me. Most people don't mock your dreams because they think you'll fail. They mock them because they're afraid you'll succeed. The moment you decide to chase something bigger, you'll notice two types of people: those who cheer you on and those who belittle your ambitions. Listen only to the first group. The second group, their words reflect them, not you. If someone in your life fits these patterns, it's time to reassess their place in your world. Not with anger, not with hate, but with indifference. Because the best way to deal with hidden enemies is not to fight them. It's to remove them from your energy entirely. Your success is the one thing they can never sabotage. They act like they're happy for you, but deep down, they're not. They pretend to support your goals, but in reality, they hope you fail. It's a hard truth to accept, but not everyone around you wants to see you win. Some people are only comfortable with you when you're struggling, when you're doubting yourself, when you're not doing better than them. And the moment you start to rise, the mask starts to slip. One of the most telling signs that someone secretly despises you is how they react to your setbacks. A true friend feels your pain when you're down. They'll offer support, advice, or at the very least, genuine concern. But a person who secretly dislikes you, they won't show sympathy. They'll hide their satisfaction behind fake concern, or worse, they'll subtly suggest that maybe you deserved it. Watch how they respond when something goes wrong in your life. Do they rush to check on you, or do they take their time? Do they offer real help, or do they give generic responses like, "That sucks," or, "Well, maybe it was meant to be"? If their words feel empty, if their body language seems too relaxed for the situation, chances are they're secretly happy to see you struggling. But sometimes it's even more subtle than that. They won't celebrate your failure openly, but they'll drop little hints that they think you had it coming. Well, maybe this will humble you a little. I guess this was a learning experience for you. Honestly, I kind of saw this coming. These aren't words of support. These are veiled expressions of relief. Relief that you're not ahead of them anymore, and that's the key. These people aren't necessarily hoping you fail at everything. They just don't want you to succeed beyond them. That they're just looking out for you. But in reality, they don't want you to succeed, at least not faster than them. I once had a co-worker who acted like a friend, always smiling, always pretending to be helpful. But every time I relied on them for something important, something conveniently went wrong. They forgot to forward an important email. They misplaced key documents I needed. They accidentally let the wrong people hear things that made me look bad. At first, I thought it was just bad luck, but then I realized it wasn't an accident, it was intentional. So how do you handle people like this? You stop giving them access to your plans. If someone is subtly working against you, don't confront them. Just remove their ability to sabotage you. Trust me, the moment you stop depending on them, they'll show their true colors. And when they do, you'll know exactly what to do. Because here's the truth. The biggest mistake you can make is ignoring the signs. These people don't hate you outright, but they also don't love seeing you win. And if you let them stay close, they will continue to hold you back. Your success is the one thing they can never sabotage, unless you allow them to. They act like they want the best for you, but their actions tell a different story. They claim to support you, yet somehow you always feel drained after talking to them. They pretend to be happy for your success, but there's a flicker of something else in their eyes, something they don't want you to see. When someone secretly despises you, they won't always make it obvious. In fact, the most dangerous ones are the ones who pretend to be your ally. They don't want to show their true feelings because that would make them look like the bad guy. Instead, they keep you close, all while subtly undermining you in ways that are easy to overlook, until it's too late. One of the most revealing signs that someone secretly dislikes you is when they act differently around others. When it's just the two of you, they might be distant, uninterested, or even passive-aggressive. But the moment someone else enters the conversation, their whole demeanor changes. They become warm, friendly, even overly enthusiastic. Suddenly they're laughing at your jokes, agreeing with your opinions, acting like they've been your biggest supporter all along. It's a performance, and if you pay attention, you'll notice the cracks in their act. Because when no one else is around, they don't treat you with that same level of enthusiasm. They don't show the same warmth. Their smiles don't reach their eyes. They don't go out of their way to lift you up or check in on you. But in a group setting, they put on a show. Why do they do this? Because they care about their image. They don't want people to see them as the person who doesn't support you. So they play their role, making sure to appear supportive, just enough to avoid suspicion. But when the spotlight is gone, their indifference returns. A real friend doesn't treat you like an afterthought when no one is watching. Their kindness isn't selective. If someone only acknowledges your value when others are around, it's not genuine, it's manipulation. So how do you handle this? Observe their consistency. Do they treat you the same way in private as they do in public? If the answer is no, that's a red flag. Test their authenticity. Bring up something in a group setting that they dismissed when it was just the two of you. Watch their reaction. Do they suddenly pretend to care now that there's an audience? That's your proof. Withdraw your energy. Stop giving them access to your personal thoughts, your struggles, your victories. See how they respond when you no longer give them a front row seat to your life. If they disappear, that tells you everything you need to know. I once had someone in my life who would act dismissive when it was just the two of us. Conversations felt forced, their energy felt cold, and I often left our interactions feeling unsettled. But the moment we were in a group setting, they would suddenly become animated, engaging, and even overly affectionate. At first I thought I was imagining it. Maybe I was just being sensitive, but as time went on, I realized the truth. They didn't respect me. They just didn't want anyone else to see that. When I finally stopped engaging with them, when I stopped reacting to their selective support, they disappeared from my life without a word. And that's when I knew they were never a friend to begin with. Another dangerous sign of hidden resentment. They sabotage you in small, almost unnoticeable ways. Not everyone will openly try to bring you down. Some people prefer to do it in ways that can be easily excused as accidents, coincidences, or misunderstandings. These are the people who forget to tell you about an important opportunity, the ones who downplay the urgency of a situation, making you miss out. The ones who accidentally mislead you with bad advice, just enough to set you back without making it obvious. Maybe they fail to pass along information that could have helped you succeed. Maybe they always show up late when you're counting on them. Maybe they convince you to take unnecessary risks, all while pretending they're just looking out for you. These small acts of sabotage aren't obvious at first, but over time they add up. And the worst part, if you call them out on it, they'll act innocent. "Oh, I didn't realize that was important. I thought you already knew. I was just trying to help." They'll make you question yourself, make you feel like you're overreacting. But you're not. These aren't random mistakes. These are patterns, and patterns don't lie. I once had a colleague who always seemed to make small mistakes whenever they were responsible for something that involved me. They'd forget to pass along messages, misplace important documents, and conveniently mix up deadlines. At first, I assumed they were just careless. But then I noticed something interesting. These mistakes never seemed to happen with anyone else, only with me. And that's when I realized this wasn't carelessness. It was intentional. When I started double-checking everything, making sure I had backups, their pattern of accidental sabotage stopped. Not because they had suddenly changed, but because they knew they could no longer get away with it. So if you notice that someone in your life is constantly causing small setbacks for you, pay attention. Stop assuming it's just bad luck. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Start protecting yourself. And finally, the most painful sign of all, they secretly enjoy your failures. A real friend hurts when you hurt. A real ally feels your pain when you're struggling. But a person who secretly despises you, they won't express joy outright, but you'll feel it. Their concern will be performative, their sympathy hollow. Instead of offering real support, they'll throw subtle jabs. Well, maybe this will teach you something. At least now you know how it feels. Honestly, this might be a good thing for you. It's not real empathy, it's a mask. a thinly veiled attempt to hide the fact that deep down they're relieved to see you fall. Because when you struggle, they don't feel threatened. When you fail, they don't have to compare themselves to you. The hardest part about recognizing this behavior is that it often comes from people you once trusted, people you once believed in. It's painful to accept that someone you cared about is secretly rooting against you, but the truth is, not everyone who claps for you wants to see you win. Some people just want to be close enough to watch your downfall. So what do? You cut them off. Not with anger, not with drama, but with distance. Because the best revenge is not proving them wrong, it's thriving without them. I once had someone in my life who never celebrated my victories, but was always strangely available when things weren't going well. When I was struggling, they suddenly had time to talk, but when I was succeeding, they went silent. At first, I thought they just didn't care, but then I realized the truth. They preferred me broken. They felt more comfortable when I was doubting myself. And that's when I made a choice. I stopped giving them updates on my life. I stopped letting them in on my highs or my lows. And the moment they realized they no longer had access to my success or my struggles, they disappeared. Because that's the thing about people who secretly despise you. They only stick around as long as they feel they have power over your emotions. The moment you take that power back, they lose interest. So if you recognize any of these signs in someone you know, don't ignore them. Don't wait for them to reveal their true colors in an obvious way. Because they already have. You just need to be willing to see it. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can surround yourself with people who truly want to see you win. They were never truly in your corner. They smiled, they clapped, they acted supportive, but deep down, they wanted to see you struggle. Maybe not outright fail, but definitely not surpass them. And the hardest part? You didn't see it at first. People who secretly despise you don't always show it in obvious ways. They don't yell, insult, or openly sabotage you. Instead, they do it in silence, through subtle jabs disguised as jokes, through fake encouragement that plants doubt instead of confidence, through selective kindness that disappears when you're doing well. And that's why it's so dangerous, because if you're not paying attention, you might think it's all in your head. You might convince yourself they do care, that they do want the best for you. But deep down, you know something isn't right. You've felt it, the forced smiles, the fake concern, the way they never truly celebrate your wins, the way they disappear when things are going well. You've noticed how their energy shifts depending on who's around, how they stay silent when you need them the most, and worst of all, how they secretly enjoy your struggles, even if they'd never admit it. So what do? You let them go. Not with anger, not with drama, but with quiet detachment. You stop expecting loyalty from people who have already shown they don't have it. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't listening. You stop giving them access to your plans, your struggles, your victories. And when you do that, something powerful happens. You reclaim your peace. You surround yourself with people who genuinely support you, people who celebrate you without hesitation, people who don't feel threatened by your success, but inspired by it. Because here's the truth. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat in your life. Some people only want to be close enough to witness your downfall. Others just want to keep you small. And the sooner you remove them, the sooner you'll realize how much lighter you feel without them in your space. So trust your gut. Pay attention to energy, not words, and never, ever keep someone around just because of history. Real support feels different. Real loyalty is effortless, and the moment you stop making excuses for fake allies, you make room for the people who truly belong in your life.